Please welcome to the stage, Bryce Stanley.
Hello. You guys ready to have some fun? All right. My name is Bryce Stanley. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Sometimes I cry when I cut the other vegetables so the onions don't think it's all their fault. Try to do that. A little bit more about me. Got engaged in November. Yeah. Got married in March. 12 years later, I got divorced in May. It's a little bit about me. Feel like I've already taken you single ladies on an emotional roller coaster ride, haven't I? I could kind of feel it. Like, I like this guy. I know he's not that fat. He's real sensitive to vegetables. I like that. That's good. Wait a minute, what's going on? Oh, he's married! Oh, no, he's married! No, he's single! He's just jaded. Really jaded, so. So I got a couple boys out of my marriage. Naming your son's tough when you're a guy. I was looking for something to pass my name along. Also looking for something biblical, so I recommended the name Jesus Bryce. She said no. So I said, how about Bryce Stanley Sr., because I thought he'd get a lot more respect in elementary school if the other kids thought he had a kid already. She said no to that also. So we did what most Americans did. We named him after my favorite NASCAR driver. Yeah, hard to believe little Dale Jr.'s already 12. Getting up there. I still have people that come up to me and say, you can't name your son Dale Jr. I'm like, why not? They're like, because your name's not Dale. Like, well, I did it. I don't know what to tell you. Named the second one Robert Griffin III, so that's my two boys. Pretty proud of them. They're getting older. I'm starting to realize that kids don't take responsibility for anything these days. Has anybody noticed this? Yeah, had a couple of my friends that got divorced last year, and their kids didn't even blame themselves. It's like totally their fault, Everybody knew it. I don't know. I think we're pampering them a little too much. I think it's this, maybe this No Child Left Behind could be part of the issue. I grew up in a generation, we had a little trick when I was in school. We left kids behind. That's what we did. A lot of times face down in a trash can. Just send them the message. So that's kind of what we did. I don't know. I think we kind of spoil them on the back of our cars, too. Seems like we got a generation of kids that have, been worshipped on the back of the car since they were born. We get the baby on board, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not going to take fewer selfies while I'm driving because you got a kid in your car that I don't even know. I mean, that's just not going to do it, so. These bumper stickers are ridiculous. I actually saw one the other day that said, my 40-year-old son lives in my basement and works part-time at Long John Silver's. They're getting ridiculous. I told my mom I'm assistant manager. Like, at least put that part on there. That's the good part. So, I don't know. They get to play on these ball teams. They got to put the bumper sticker on the back of their car with the ball team names. And I don't know. When I was a kid, we didn't play on teams like the Threat and the Heat and the Thunder, Attack. We played like on normal teams. And I think this weird trend. I feel like if we're going to name these teams weird names, maybe we should be a little more descriptive of the kids on the team. Does anybody follow me on this one? Like maybe like the Overland Park Spoiled. That would be a good team. Like the Olathe Entitled. Maybe. They could play. That'd be a pretty good matchup. Winner gets a trophy, loser gets a sportsmanship trophy. Pretty good deal. I don't know, maybe the Independents medicated. Be a team. They'd at least be calm, so. I don't know, maybe a team like the Lee Summit, Don't You Know Who My Dad Is? I like that team. Probably wouldn't even fit on the uniform, but I still like that team. Guess that's better than the Raytown, We Don't Know Who Our Dad's Is. Got a couple groans on that one. That was a little bit offensive. Sorry about that. Should be the Raytown, We Don't Know Who Our Dads Are. I think that fixed the racism. I think we got it all under control now. So. The other bumper sticker I like is the In Loving Memory bumper stickers. You ever seen these? Someone passed away, and we put an In Loving Memory sticker on the back of our car. I like seeing these on a really shitty car. You ever seen that? It's like In Loving Memory of Papa Jack, and it's like on an 82 Honda Accord hatchback. You know? Like, is that the best we could do for Papa Jack? After all he did for the kids. So, I don't know. So I was getting married, going to meet the in-laws for the first time. They live in a little small town up in northern Missouri. Got to meet the father-in-law for the first time, and he's like, hey, do you want to go deer hunting with me? I said, sure. And what I meant was no. Like, no, I don't want to go out in the woods with you with a gun. You know? Like, what if he knows what I've done to his daughter? Like, I don't, you know. So I don't know if you guys know, it's cold. It's cold, and I didn't, so I'm like, but I'd already said yes. So he's like, meet me at 5 tomorrow. And I said, 5 o'clock, that's going to be trouble because that's happy hour. And he's like, no, 5 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot worse. Because the bars close like at 1, so it's like 2, like, it's going to be a long day. So I show up the next morning, and I'm wearing the closest thing that I had to camouflage, which was like a green polo shirt and khakis, a brown belt, you know, brown shoes that didn't even match the belt, but he didn't seem to care. And he'd asked me the day before if I owned any camouflage, and I said, I think I do. And that's when I realized, like, you don't think you own camouflage. You either know you own camouflage, or you know you don't own camouflage. I mean, that's the way it is. You're never, you know, sitting on your couch like, hey, honey, that tracksuit that I bought yesterday, was that camouflage? That's not the way it works. So. It's a lot like herpes. You're going to remember you got it. Like, that's what I'm trying to say here. So we're getting ready, and he's like, hey, why don't you spray some of this on you so the deer won't be able to smell us? I'm like, what is it? He says, deer pee. And I was like, is that P. Diddy's new fragrance that's out? I don't know what. Never heard of this. And he's like, just spray it on you. So I sprayed it like all over me, and I'm like, this smells a lot more like R. Kelly's new fragrance. This is terrible. And he's like, no, it's actually deer pee. He's like, well, I think you just ruined my 5th best pair of khakis, but. All right. So we head out to the woods, and he's like, we climb up in, we get in this little love seat in the tree thing, and we're sitting there. And he's like, from now on, we got to be quiet. So I'm like, okay, all right. So we sit there for, I don't know, it was probably 3 or 4, like, days. I don't know how long we were there. Pretty soon he's like, hey, did you hear that? And I was like, no, I was playing Angry Birds on my phone. What are you talking about? He's like, there's an 8-pointer over by the creek. I said, I don't know what those words mean. He said, there's an 8-point buck right over there. And I was like, that doesn't seem like a lot of points. How many points for the girl deers? points do I need to score before I can go back to bed? So he sat there a second. I'm like, would I just shoot it? And he's like, no, I gotta let it get closer. So I'm like, okay. And I gave him one of these for some reason. Like I knew what I was doing. And then I was like, caw-caw, caw-caw! And the deer just ran off for some reason. I could tell by his face he was surprised that my deer call didn't work too. And that's when he's like, we're done. We're done hunting. And I was like, how come we're not whispering anymore? It's like, no, we're going fishing. That'll be a lot easier. So I'm like, all right. So we walk all the way back to the truck. He's like, go home, get ready, go fishing, get your stuff, and meet me back here. So I go home, and I'm changing out of my pea khakis, you know. And I look at my closet, and what do you know? I got a tracksuit that's camouflage. I totally forgot I had, you know. I'm like, all right. So I put that on, got all my stuff ready, came back. He's like, where's your tackle box? I'm like, it's right here. And he said, that's a cooler. And I'm like, well, it's got what I need in it, you know. 12 beers, couple sandwiches, and some Nutter Butters. That's how I fish, you know. He's like, whatever. Okay. So we go, we get out to the lake, you know. And he's having to show me everything because I don't know how to fish either. And so he's having to tie all the stuff on my string for me. And then he, you know, shows me how to cast. And then I do it. And then we get the lure out of the tree behind me. And then I don't want to brag, but I hit the water on like the third try. I don't know what the record is, but I was pretty happy with that. So I'm like, what do we do? And he's like, now we just got to wait. So I was like, all right. So we sit there for a little bit, and pretty soon my pole kind of starts moving a little bit. I'm like, oh, man, what's going on? He's like, I think you got one. I was like, oh, what do I do? And he's like, you got to get it in here. And I was like, okay, caw-caw, caw-caw. Yeah, I joined the country club later that day, so yeah. So kids, we're talking about kids. I try to help kids all I can. I've got a little program I started fairly recently that I like to call the surprise baptism. And what I do is I just hang out at public pools. I just kind of wait out in the middle until I can get a kid that gets close to me. And then I'm like, boom, can I get an amen? Oddly enough, I don't get a lot of amens. Get yelled at by moms a lot. You know, what are you doing to my son? It's like, I just gave your son eternal salvation. You're welcome. Realize I can just kind of stand in the middle and go, polo, polo. I'll start saying Marco and just coming right to me. So, save me some steps. So. Guys, I know that's not how baptism works, but man, it feels good. Feeling like I'm doing the Lord's work, you know. So I was on a mission trip to Oceans of Fun last summer. When I realized I can just wait at the bottom of the water slide and let the kids do all the work themselves. Saved about 400 kids that day. Saw 3 moms lose their bikini tops, so pretty good day on the mission field overall. So. All right, my name's Bryce. I'm out of time. Thanks.